Dime.tv.
Previously on Mystical Ninja.
After 2 days in the desert sun, my skin began to turn red. After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed.
Well, hello once again and welcome back to Nathan Plays Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. My name is Nathan and this is Mystical Ninja for the Nintendo 64. In the previous episode, we found the batteries and revived our mechanical ninja friend Sasuke. We also gained access to his tiny explosives, which are going to be very, very useful to us. Not just for finding some nice upgrades, but also for getting to the next main dungeon area, bad guy castle thing. So, setting out once again from Zazen Town, we are able to now switch to Sasuke. And heading out into the kind of region that we explored in the previous episode, there were some cracked doors, as you recall, that we weren't able to open, but now we can see what's inside. The bomb itself has a very small sort of blast radius, so not the most useful thing ever for attacking, but pretty handy for those doors. So we found a strength, we found a, one of those, the kitty cat, and a bunch of money. There's still a locked door back there, as you saw, that we're not quite sure what to do with, but maybe in time that will come, or maybe not. I don't know, doesn't matter. Anyway, the other cracked door was up here. And once again, one tiny bomb makes a great big explosion, and we get a full golden fortune doll. As opposed to just the portion of one that we got earlier, as well as many more coins. So from here, it was a long, long walk back to the rocky highlands and down to the cave in which the enemy's dungeon was. We went over the fun bridge again, like last time. Got to go all the way through this rocky area and just sort of spent a lot of time avoiding everything until we were finally back at the base. We were meant to raid Festival Temple Castle. Here we go. So, going on in, I head up these steps and immediately am squashed and lose a life. Not a super great way to start off the adventure in this castle, but that's what happened. Yeah, it turns out both sides are sort of plagued by these, I guess they're giant lanterns? Falling and crushing. There is a decent amount of space between them, but it's kind of hard to judge. That one very nearly got me. So we're just going to wait and try and time it out to be able to get back through safely. There we go, not too bad. Oh. Okay, wait by the corner there. And there we are. Doorway heads inside, and there's a sign here. Freeze the hot floors with the kunai of severe cold. Oh, found somewhere in this castle. Well, that's very handy. Thank you. Thanks for the notice there. Yeah, it seems those platforms moving back and forth are glowing with red hotness, red heat. And we're going to need to find the kunai of freezing cold in order to do something about that. So we'll have to head into a different direction and see what we can see. I braved my way back through these lanterns one more time and then realized I can just sort of shortcut the whole thing by jumping over the side. This area down below is fenced in. You can see a door behind there, so we're going to have to find a way into this area. And I didn't have to look too hard. Head past the entrance here. Ignore those. They take 2 hits, and that's way too long. It's boring. Sasuke's attacks also make that delightful swing noise that I enjoy about Yai's sword attacks, and so I still get to have that going for me, which is nice. And around here we have some more lanterns that are sort of rolling and heading across there, making a bit of a hazard, as well as some pits that I nearly didn't see at first, and sort of a new creature. I have no idea how to describe it, but it's almost like a hand. Whoops, almost dropped into that one. And they shoot bullets at you. I really don't know what they're supposed to be. There's another golden fortune doll back there that we're going to try and find out how to get to later. It looks like it's walled off for the time being. But there is a ladder, so there's got to be a way in from above, I guess. We'll get a better look at the things that are shooting at me in just a moment. As you can see, the shots don't do too terribly much damage, but they are annoying, and they have the potential to throw you off your game when you're trying to navigate both pits and rolling hazards. Which fortunately don't kill you outright, unlike the ones in the entrance. They just hurt. Into the next room, we have a little bit of a water thing going on here. Let's see how good of a swimmer Sasuke is. He's pretty good. Look at his little legs there, kicking away. It's cute. Here we come to a T-junction of rooms. One is locked, so obviously we're not doing that one. We'll try this way. And more of an open courtyard area with some ghost samurai armor, very scary, as well as some floaty, I don't know what those are, but they're kind of hovering around trying to come down at me here. I decided to backtrack just a little bit here and check out a lot of the rooms we're going to go through in this castle have a vertical element to them that may or may not be useful. In this case, I get some health back, which is nice. And scanning around the rest of the room, pull myself up there. There's more coins. And here's a silver fortune doll, which is pretty nice. I think we can agree. That was the one I needed to increase my strength gauge by 1. So now I've got to collect 4 more to get to the next strength gauge up. If we go back even further, there's another room. You saw those elevators going up and down. We can check this one out too. This one contains our good friend Mr. Elly Fant. Now we have access to the map showing the inside of this castle. This sounds like it's going to be more useful than it actually is in this case. This castle, as we're going to see later on, has styles of rooms that sort of render the map not very effective. This is probably our least linear castle yet. And as we're going to see, the map just doesn't show quite enough detail to help us make sense of all of it. I'm going to have to use my memory. Ugh, the worst. It's like a goldfish. I decided to briefly try and use Abisumaro's camera to see if I could get anything inside of the haunted armor. Maybe make it easier to fight. But no. Makes no difference. I'm trying to think of more places to use that camera because of the way that whole thing with the tree ended up. And yet, all of the things I've tried so far just really don't really seem to actually make any difference. I don't know if it's just me or if the game could have communicated a little bit better when it's time to use the camera and when not, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, we're here. Turns out the Goemon's ranged attacks make a good antidote to the quickness of the samurai armor, so you can keep your distance and hit them without them coming at you, which they do pretty fast. Around this side, there's another door. You saw the locked one on the other side. We're going to have to make a mental note of that for later. Got a big open area here and what look to be tanks off to the side, which is a little bit scary, just rotating around. And some enemies down in the middle of the room. The red and white of this castle, not exactly easy on the eyes, and for that I apologize. Just trying to check around the corners of the room, make sure I'm not missing anything crucial. And for some reason climb up here to fight this tank, even though there's really no good reason to do so. Tanks take 3 hits to take down. Not too bad. Still, I don't want to tangle with one unless I absolutely have to. Not all is as it appears to be in this room. We've got a big set of stairs and going off to platforms and doors on the left and right side. Once the camera works with me here. There we go. But curiously, this staircase Oh, of course, first of all, I had to check the corners, because you never know. The staircase is really more of a teeter-totter kind of situation, and when pressure is put on one side, it raises and lowers the other side. Not much of a puzzle here, it's just that you have to be quick. That's really all there is to it. Just jump often, and the lightness of your tread will help you get across. So going through that sort of a larger crescent-shaped room into this one, we got a pit, we got some more ghost armor, which is irritating to say the least. Got some platforms, it looks like we're going to have to negotiate a little later on. See, angles in this game are like the camera takes so long to move around, and then when you have to fight stuff that's not head-on, it's not your friend. So we'll climb the ladder here and... yeah, sure. Okay, we'll climb the ladder on the proper side. Some games have code that doesn't allow you to climb a ladder on the quote-unquote wrong side. This one obviously does not. We have lots and lots of coins, so I decided to make use of a few of them and take out some of these enemies at range. Seeing as how we're not buying some of the more expensive pieces like armor, which I feel like, you know, I know that armor in the game will absorb a few hits for you, but I feel like I'm going to use that up just while I travel before I even get to any kind of a boss situation or something where it would really be useful, so that's kind of why I haven't been buying that stuff. As you can see, this floating platform leads to another silver fortune doll, which of course we completely miss the jump, and so it's time to work my way back around and try again. Of course, that meant fighting through more ghost armor, climbing the ladder on the right side this time, and coming all the way down here. Patience. Patience. Yes. Get to watch Goemon do his little neck stretch dance there. For some reason, anytime you stop moving on that narrow stretch of platform, he acts as though he's about to lose his balance and fall off, which is kind of funny. So by going through this door... Oh, not that door. Ah. It's been a little while since I've watched this segment after playing it. Of course, I have to check out that side first and see if there's anything useful up there, which didn't appear to be. So we're going to check out this door now, which brings us to the other side of the same room we were in before. Only on this side, we have access to the floating platforms. Actually, we might have had access to both from both sides. I didn't really look that hard. It looks like you can. Tricky. Done like a pro. Not much going on in this room except a nice little silver key sitting on a platform. So now we have to backtrack quite a ways to get to that silver key door. So I've spared you quite a lot of that. I recorded way more footage than I usually do for this episode. It was just a longer play session, so I'm being a little more ruthless in my editing. But nothing I skip over was really super interesting or worth knowing about, believe me. You can see that in this part of the castle, or here, rather, that in this part of the castle, the music has taken on another layer of our cool electro-funk soundtrack that we seem to be rewarded with for playing the game. And the coins, once again, make a good way of keeping certain enemies at a distance to fight them. Really, at this point, there were a lot of doors to choose from, so I just sort of arbitrarily picked one. And this would be a situation where the map is not super useful, because they have these dividers in the rooms, and it's just going to show as one great big old room on the map. But there are multiple paths through. Some rooms yield different access to different things based on which side you come in, and it's just hard to know. However, I found a kunai of severe cold. This allows you to temporarily stop flames coming from the fox, sure, or cool down the hot platforms there. The intense hail beam can be shot in which 3 kunai fly out at once if you charge it up. So of course we're going to switch over to Sasuke here. This is one that he throws. This also costs coins. And the charge makes it sort of a 3-shot attack there. So now that he has a throwable attack, that's really going to be useful. And this room didn't waste any time throwing me into danger here, so... Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Nicely done. By me. Get on top of the drum and jump. Okay. First, take care of the little annoyance there. Yeah. Oh, neat. Once again, a couple of doors to choose from. And as you can see, the map is just sort of opaque a little bit, and so I just kind of picked one. I just wanted to be sure of my exits, which ones kind of seem to go around the outside of the castle. But again, it's hard to know, and so sometimes you just gotta choose. Now, something from above is dropping exploding squares on me there. And I also have to deal with this ghost armor at the same time. That doesn't seem exactly fair to me. Does it seem that way to you? This time I decided to experiment with the kunai of cold. As you can see, it does an excellent job of ice cubing those fellas, stopping them in their tracks. Doesn't really seem to connect with the, well, I mean, it hits the blocks, but just makes them explode right away, and then explosion sticks around for a weirdly long time. So I'm running around, not entirely, I wouldn't say aimless, this may be a strong word, but something very close to aimlessly at this point. Just kind of trying out different rooms and seeing what I can see. We're in this sort of a long section on the side of the castle there, facing west. And we did see some star blocks there, so maybe that's going to lead us to something interesting if we navigate those. Tried to make the bombs work again just for funsies, but not really my favorite. So after fighting my way through that, I grabbed the chain. And once the camera cooperates, I do some excellent jump chain grabs here. Because it looks like it's just out of reach. Oh, this is going to be good. Whatever's back here. I'm excited. Oh, we're back in the drum room. Man! Come on. You know what? We're gonna take this door this time. Seems to be a part of the same room where the rolling barrels were, but we've also found the thing that allows us to see where the boss is on the map. That's honestly never been terribly useful to me because the boss room is going to be the last thing you do in any case, and so I guess you could just sort of mentally prepare yourself. Here's my first use of the kunai of cold in order to stop a platform, because I see that there's something up there that I want to get to, but these platforms need to be halted first. So after a long time of struggling with trying to get that left side platform up high enough, because it goes slightly higher than the other one, I just could not get up there, and I spent a bunch of time trying to freeze it in just the right spot. The answer is much simpler. Turns out, just go around this side, where I came in, and hop up on the ledge. Something special up here, it's Abisuaru's Meat Saw Hammer. Change any item that appears after beating an enemy into a dumpling to restore strength. So with that in mind and heading back outward into another part of the castle, I decided to give it a quick try, but I'm afraid I don't really understand how it works. And so it didn't really seem to do a lot for me. I don't know, maybe we'll make better use of it later. In any case, we now had our kunai of cold, and it was time to go into the area that we were warned off of in the first place. Once again, carefully navigating around these lanterns that killed us so quickly. You'll notice that I am back up to 3 lives. That's because in a segment that stayed on the cutting room floor, I did manage to find a secret with an extra life in it. Go me. Go team me. All the time. So we're going to have to stand on the ledge here in order to get just the right height. And then fall off, because that's just how we do. How we roll. Try it again. And there we go. After carefully avoiding those fellas, I noticed that you can seem to maybe climb back up there, but not really what I want to do right now, so we're just going to head further into the castle. Here we have some vertical stuff happening in this room, as well as a door in the back corner there. We'll check out the vertical stuff in a moment, because we're going to go through that door as soon as we're done tangling with these guys. There we go. Door leads to a small room where you get mobbed by these twirly, I don't know, are they mops? Who knows? I'm sure there's some cultural thing there that I'm missing completely. And here we can see we're back in the rolling lanterns room. You saw the holes there in the wall where they come out of. Very briefly, and there they are again, which means that on this side of the room... On this side of the room is that golden fortune doll that we made note of much, much earlier on. We also get a bunch of coins for our trouble. And from there, I worked my way back inside to that room with all the verticality. Froze that platform a little bit high, it seemed like, and so I decided to sort of wait it out. Just wait it out. There we go. It reheats eventually. And I managed to freeze it in exactly the same place, but it turns out you can just jump and climb it. Here we go. We have a little bit of a jumping challenge with a bunch of platforms in a row. And we're just going to whiff that completely and have to make our way back around after fighting these guys. Second time's the charm, and everything worked out nicely. And here are the foxes that they mentioned earlier. It's sort of a mask that's going to sit there and spew fire at us if we let it. We're just not going to get too close, and that's going to be easy. Nothing to worry about here. Very slow platform heading across the gap there, and we can see something sparkling in the corner. I'm thinking that's going to be... Yep. Gold key for us. Which again means a whole lot of backtracking to a different part of the castle. But first of all, we're going to grab these coins, because coins... Yep, way back in that sort of crescent-shaped courtyard that we came across a while back, there's the gold door. And that's going to lead us into the final stretch of this castle. A few foxes are trying to spit fire at us, but we don't care. We fell in some water. I'm so bad at noticing ledges and stuff in this game. I run over them all the time. I'm not sure if that's... I'm pretty sure that's my fault. I don't think that one's on the game, to be honest. A few tanks that we're just not interested in. I'm just going to run right past those guys. And head into this new area. Now, the frame rate in this video should be... The way you're viewing it on YouTube should be the way that it actually plays. It is chunkier here. If you notice, we have a great big room, and it is noticeably slower to look at and to play, which makes jumping interesting because... your controls just feel muddy and sluggish compared to the rest of the game. So our first challenge is to get to this platform, which I do succeed at. Next challenge is to get up there. which of course I fail at miserably and have to swim back around again. Also, we have the sort of great big fish swinging back and forth, as you saw there. We're going to have to make use of those in just a moment. Hopefully there's a little space marked out on the ground for where you should stand. They're rather nice of them to include that, actually. Then it's a quick hop up to the back of the fish. Again, this area isn't incredibly difficult, but just the sluggishness of the frame rate do kind of make it a little bit nerves-inducing. Do some more climbing, and then we're up to another ladder. This time, did I get it right? Did I get it right? Yes. And we have another little marked space there. So we're going to wait for this fish to come around and pick us up and try and figure out where to go from there. Well, it looks like if we hop down there, we're just going to end up back where we started. A little bit of a conundrum. I don't really see a lot else going on. So actually, why don't we make our way up the body of the fish to the middle, where there appears to be a platform. Well, it's a lovely golden dango. And we just have to wait for our ride to come back down here. We're going to wait very, very carefully because I have a way of running into things when I'm trying to jump. But we did pretty okay there. This one brings us around. You can see some bonuses there that we don't need. One more jump up to this platform, and we did it. We did it. Solved the puzzle of the giant windy fishes. So this brings us to one of our last major rooms. There's a whole bunch of enemies lining the side. It's kind of a slope down to some water and steps leading up to one more door. Do we want to bother with any of them? We do not. And aside from a quick check around the sides of this structure, there's really not a lot else we're going to want to do here. Maybe I'm missing some crucial secrets, who knows? But I don't care. A little bit of a hint, return the red plates by hitting them back. Well, I don't really have a lot of context for that comment right now, but I'm sure it'll make sense in due time. The ghost robot, Tsurami. I'm curious as to how something can be a ghost of, like, is it a robot that died and became a ghost? Or is it, like, did some ghosts build a robot? In any case, he throws plates at you. And it's up to you to wait for the red ones and hit them back. This took a few tries to get the timing of, and I took a few hits. Just trying to get the first one. But once you've done it, it's not so bad. It takes a few more hits, and then eventually he goes into phase 2. And every time you hit him, you see he kind of lunges at you there, but it doesn't actually seem to do anything. Phase 2 involves a rapid-fire green plates, ending with some reds that we hit right back. And you rinse and repeat a couple more times there. Once that's done, we move into phase 3. I wondered if I should hit him there or something, but I don't really know what that's all about. Phase 3 is crazy. It involves throwing yellow plates out in sort of a rough spiral. You do have to watch out for the lingering explosion effects there, which is very challenging because you can't see that far ahead of you. And then every so often some reds come out and you gotta try and hit those back. Again, after a few hits of this, the fight winds up. Not too bad of a boss, all things considered. This feels really reminiscent of a different Nintendo 64 game that I just cannot put my finger on. But I got the Miracle Star, and for some reason I was expecting him to grab it and spin around and make a little peace sign at the camera. Instead, I get this guy. Girl? Sharon. My sweet, sweet Sharon robot. Without Sharon robot, we can't keep the power to the barrier that's blocking passage to Kyushu. Ah, I remember from last time. So there's a great big hint about where to go next. As always, the laugh track is totally on point. Kitty Lily has made her entrance. Kitty Lily. It's a name that makes a little more sense than Spring Breeze Dancing. And Goemon wants to fight. Kitty Lily refuses, saying that she'll be mobbed by fans even though we've never heard of her. One of the better jokes. And she's going to tell us something helpful. Kyushu has already become our stage. And Sharon wants to go home. They exchange a quick conversation about makeup. Sharon spins away. So there we go. We have a definite direction in mind as the game asks us to save at the end of this cutscene, and that is, of course, where we're going to call it a video as well. So, as always, thank you ever so much for watching. Next time, we'll head into Kyushu region, and we'll see you next mission.